Good afternoon and good evening. My name is Rajkaran Mishra and I am the Surgeon at Arms cum Zoom Master for today's meeting. On behalf of Bombay Toastmasters Club and Morison Muscat Toastmasters Club, I welcome all the guests and fellow Toastmasters for the meeting. So before we proceed, some guidelines. 1. Please refrain from talking whilst or chatting while the speaker is delivering his speech, as it disturbs the speaker as well as the audience. Number 2, avoid three taboo things, which are religion, politics, and sex, because it may hurt fellow members. It may hurt fellow members' sentiments. And number 3, if in case any emergency is there and you have to quit the meeting, please type in the chat box to the respective person and then leave. Now, I would like to state Toastmasters' mission. Toastmasters' mission is to provide positive and supportive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. With this, I would like to call upon someone who's going to take this meeting forward, our presiding officer, who started his Toastmasters journey from Muscat, Oman. He have quite a few. He's very experienced person in Oman. I mean, he have worked there for a long time, and he is the founding member of our partner club, Morison Muscat Club. So give a round of applause for our presiding officer, Toastmaster Babu.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rajkaran, for those wonderful words on a wonderful day of Toastmasters for Bombay Toastmasters and a club which I will talk about very soon. Fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests, a very, very warm good evening to all of you. Today is a very special day, a red letter day, or may I add, a historic day in the annals of Bombay Toastmasters. And for two good reasons. Perhaps never before have we been privileged to host a joint meeting, especially with a distinguished club from across the Arabian Sea. I am referring to Muscat, Sultanate of Oman. Yes, fellow Toastmasters, today we are joining hands with an eminent Toastmasters Club from Oman, Morison Muscat Toastmasters Club. Please put your hands together for a thunderous round of applause. In fact, today is a day of double delight for me because it is like attending a feast at the hands of my biological parent and my nurturing parent. I cut my teeth at Morison Muscat Toastmasters, and I am trying to develop some wisdom teeth at Bombay Toastmasters. So what could be more exciting than being in the midst of two giants of the Toastmaster fraternity. But before we start the session proper, allow me to narrate an amusing banter which I had with my wife some time back. Many of you must have heard of the saying, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. Now it so happened that my wife was threatening to go to her mother's place, not because of any wrongdoings on my part, but because she wanted to take care of her aged parents. Now, on one hand, I was quite overjoyed because that would leave me a lot of time and space for doing all the Toastmasters work that she keeps complaining about. But then when I thought of my lunch and dinner problems, I had to tell her to postpone her decision. Now, this went on for quite a while, and one day I decided that I could not live with this Damocles sword hanging over my head as to what I would do when she is away for my food. Now, you see, I'm not a great foodie like Toastmaster Manish, but I still enjoy a good, decent South Indian meal. So one day I said, stepping aside, I told her, let me get into the kitchen and start learning cooking. And surprisingly, I managed to pick up the tricks of the trade in a few months' time. So the next time she said, I'm leaving for my mother's place, I told her, why not? No problem. Shall I book your tickets for tomorrow? Yes, fellow Toastmasters, that is the day I got to know the true meaning of empowerment. Today, empowerment is a buzzword that we hear all over the place, whether in the corporate world, in the society that we live in. Children growing up who want empowerment even before they become teenagers. And why we talk of empowerment in Toastmasters as well. But if the word empowerment aptly applies to someone today, it would be the Toastmaster of the day. But before I go any further, may I call upon some of our valued guests today to tell us a few words as to how and why they are here for the meeting. May I call on any one of our guests?
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Hi. My name is Bobby Thomas.
Can we have the spotlight? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Bobby. Welcome.
Hi. My name is Bobby Thomas. I'm from Santa Cruz in Mumbai.
Welcome.
I work with an organization called Mouth and Foot Painting Artists. They are disabled artists without hands who paint with their mouth and feet. The reason for joining this Toastmasters is because now I have to face the media, and I have to also talk to many I know I appear for interviews and stuff like that. So there is a confidence issue, honestly speaking. I get very nervous on stage. I'm not a media person. I'm a very media shy person. So when I have to face them, it becomes very difficult for me. And I'm forced to, as part of my work, to interact more with these kind of people. So I'm on camera, and the lights just worry me a lot. So that is the main reason I'm joining here. I want to hone my skills of presentation, of speaking more confidently. And I had come for a trial class once before, but then I never followed it up. So this time I want to be a little more serious and take this through. So thanks again for inviting me, and hello again and good evening.
Thank you and welcome once again, Mr. Bobby Thomas. I think you're at the right place. And if you remember what you said at this session today, and we listen to you a few months down the line, I'm sure you will see the difference in what you said.
Yes, yes, I'm looking forward to that.
Maybe have one more guest, please, even if it is from across the seas, if there's someone.
Yes, good evening, everyone. My name is Stefan Blasik. I am a Toastmaster from California, from Orange County, Founders District. And I have been traveling the world virtually since the pandemic has started. I've been to 10 clubs so far. This is number 11, first time ever in India, and I'm happy to be here. And thank you for having me.
Welcome, Toastmasters Stefan. It's our pleasure and privilege to have you here. We hope you do enjoy the session. Thank you very much. And now let us kickstart the session proper. May I have the privilege of introducing the Toastmaster of the day. To do the honors, we have a Toastmaster who in fact is the embodiment of empowerment. Starting with her profession as a teacher, empowering her students at the Bangladesh School Muscat in physics, but using her background as a bachelor's in industrial electronics. She is a certified DMIT analyst, lending her shoulders to students and families as a psychologist. More recently, she has taken the learnings of Toastmasters to the Gavaliers, the young Gavaliers, as the counselor of the Oman Kids Gavel Club, and recently organized a debate contest for all the school kids in Oman, which was a huge, huge success. A thorough family person, she joins her husband at Morison Muscat Toastmasters Club as one of the distinguished Toastmaster couples, and has served as secretary, vice president, education, and the immediate past president of Morison Muscat Toastmasters. So what are we waiting for? Let us kickstart the joint session of Bombay Toastmasters and Morison Muscat Toastmasters and put our hands together for this affable, lovable, amiable, adorable, and above all, a very humble Toastmaster, the immediate past president of Morison Muscat Toastmaster, Madam Toastmaster Meenakshi Nathan.
Thank you, dear President of Bombay Toastmasters Club. It is such a music to hear your words, taking Toastmaster power. Fellow Toastmasters of Morison Muscat Toastmasters Club, respected Bombay Toastmasters, welcome dignitaries and esteemed guests. Hello and pleasant evening wishes from beautiful, clean and picturesque Muscat. As per statistics from WHO, World Health Organization, in 2019, the cardiovascular diseases, CVDs, are the #1 cause of death globally, taking an estimated 17.9 million lives each year. 4 out of CVD deaths are due to heart attacks and strokes. In and around my close family and friends circle, many have undergone angioplasty or open heart surgery because of arterial blocks. The after effects are many. That comes with a price. Lifelong medication, side effects, strict diet control, with only 4 milligrams of salt a day, less sugar or no sugar at all if one is a diabetic, and absolutely low fat food. When we ask the doctors what causes these arterial clogs or blocks in the heart, they say fatty food, stress, and cholesterol imbalance. Preventive measure: include fruits and vegetables as part of your diet. But have they ever explained to us the dynamics of formation of such blocks? Wash basin or kitchen sink When clogged, we use the drain openers to remove the clogs. I wish we had readily available drain openers to remove those arterial blocks too. On the other hand, we have this thin layer of filter that collects all the big solid particles that prevent the sink from clogging. Like that filter, do we have anything that collects, rather prevents the formation of those clogs in the arteries? Toastmasters, I recently watched a podcast where Dr. Rhonda Patrick precisely went down to the basics to explain the root cause of the heart disease. Our body is programmed naturally to produce LDL cholesterol whenever we suffer any inflammation or stress. It is the imbalance between the immune cells and the LDL cholesterol that majorly result in the arterial clog. And do you believe that everything starts with the food that we eat? Immune cells are present in every organ of a body, and the highest concentration are inside our gut. More than 100 trillion bacteria are inside our gut. This outnumbers the total number of cells in our body. There is this barrier called mucin, a slimy, viscous wall that separates the immune cells layer and the bacterial layer. Let me pause here. Remember, this mucin barrier is very important in our gut. Like this mucin barrier, in today's session, we have a set of supplementary role players without whose support the whole session wouldn't be possible. Let me introduce them one by one to you. We have two timers today, enthusiastic Toastmaster Rahul Tapase from MMTC, currently serving as the club secretary and fondly regarded as the Shaktiman of MMTC. And a vibrant Toastmaster, Kirtiman, who is a new addition to Bombay Toastmasters Club, pursuing BBA in NMIMS University of Mumbai. Toastmaster Rahul will explain the virtual timing guidelines. Over to you, Rahul.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Meenakshi Natan, for a wonderful and kind introduction. Thank you. Good evening, dear Toastmaster of the Day, and wonderful guest, and my all Bombay Toastmaster and Muscat Toastmaster friends. Time and tide wait for nuns. Today, there are main three items in agenda. I would like to specify the timing rules which all of you are already aware. But the benefit of members to forgotten timing rules or benefit of guests, I would like to repeat. First of all, we will have project speeches. We have 6 project speeches today. The project speeches timing should be 5 to 7 minutes. Green, amber and red light to be displayed at the end of 5, 6 and 7 minutes respectively. Next come to the table topics. Table topic speaker is required to speak minimum 1 minute and maximum 2 minutes. Green, amber and red light to be displayed at the end of 1, 1.5 and 2 minutes respectively. The last but the not least at the evaluation. Maximum 3 minutes will be given for the evaluator to evaluate this speech. Green, amber and red light to be displayed at the end of 2, 2.5 and 3 minutes respectively. Project speaker, table topic speaker and speech evaluator will get grace period of 30 seconds to conclude their speeches. I request to all role players to follow given timing rules. Over to you, TMOD.
To help us add a new word to our lexicon and to keep check on our grammar, we have a finance student of NMIMS University, currently in level 1 of presentation mastery, who aspires to be a successful businessman. Toastmaster Divyaj Mittal from Bombay Toastmasters Club. The screen is yours.
Good afternoon and good evening, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters of Morison Muscat Toastmasters Club, Bombay Toastmasters Club, and guests. As the grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listen carefully to their language usage. I'll take note of any misuse of grammar, as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. As the grammarian, it is my responsibility to introduce the word of the day. For today's meeting, the word of the day is deja vu, D-E-J-A-V-U, which means the illusion of having previously experienced something actually being encountered for the first time. An example of using the word is, I entered the joint Toastmasters Zoom meeting today and it felt like a sense of deja vu. Each speaker is encouraged to use the word of the day. I will give a word of the day report and the grammatical usage report when called upon during the meeting. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Over to you.
To help us keep check on the filler words that we use in our presentations, we have an accounting student of Majan University, Sultanate of Oman, who also pursues ACCA. I fondly regard her as pathway prodigy of MMTC. This says it all about her. Toastmaster Forum Purecha, the screen is yours.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Meenakshi, for such a wonderful and humbling introduction. When this year started, each of us had certain plans, certain resolutions we wish to fulfill. But now, because of COVID-19, it acts like a blockage to the smooth flow of these plans. Just like that, Toastmasters and guests scratch words and sounds such as like, or long pauses act like an obstruction to the smooth delivery of our speech. As an counter, I will be making note of such hindrances and will present my report when called upon by the general evaluator. I hope you have a smooth and seamless speech. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
The virtual sessions have added one more role player in the agenda these days, without whom the very conduct of the session is impossible. The Zoom master is a Toastmaster from BTN, who is an IT wizard impacting 2 million software developers around the globe, answering their technical FAQs. Toastmaster Rajkaran Mishra. The co-host is a sartorial splendor of MMTC, a perfectionist and currently serving as VPE of the club, the man behind the initial visuals that were played in the session today. Toastmaster Sandeep Mohite. Can we have Toastmaster Rajkaran Mishra to explain the scope of your Zoom?
Okay. It's a deja vu moment for me because this is first time I have been called upon by a team OD. So I'm feeling very happy that I have been called. I'm coming for the second time on the screen. So my responsibilities are like to make sure that nobody is waiting. So let him in the waiting room. So let me admit him, and nobody is making noise, or I switch the noise off, and echo is not there, and I have to scroll through all the participants that are there any person who is not muted and who's disturbing the whole audience. So these are my responsibilities, and I'll make sure that our meetings goes, and it will be remembered for both Morison Muscat Toastmasters and Bombay Toastmasters. So over to you, TMOD. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you very much.
The Zoom master will also be displaying the poll or Google Forms for voting for the best role players today. There is a big pause also for the whole session, the King of Kings. At MMTC, we fondly regard this role as MIL, the mother-in-law role of the session. That is the General Evaluator, DTM Arvind Nair, who will be invited in the latter part of the session. For a normal, healthy function of our body, this mucin barrier wall should be intact. To maintain this mucin intact, the gut cells need energy from the fibers of the food. Remember, from the fibers of the food that we eat. Now, what will happen if we do not take fiber-rich diet? Rather, feed the stomach with all the saturated fats, your kebabs, samosas, carbs, sugars constantly. The mucin barrier is compromised. Eventually, the immune cells detect the bacteria as danger and start eating them. This releases a dangerous byproduct called endotoxin. These endotoxins flow through the bloodstream, they are attracted and get soaked up with the LDL cholesterol. This LDL cholesterol is like a sponge and attracts all the endotoxins. Now these endotoxins bound to the LDL cholesterol are stuck in the bloodstream and give signal to the immune cells. The immune cells start attacking them, but in vain, because these endotoxins are not alive like bacteria. End result, these particles start forming a plaque in the arterial walls. This arterial plaque will slow down the circulation of the blood. The plaque sends a signal to the bloodstream that there is an inflammation in the blood vessel, which in turn signals the crazy production of LDL cholesterol. In turn, that soaks up more endotoxin, which adds up more plaque. Over a period, the artery is narrowed down, signaling the heart. Let me tell you, this whole process is not an overnight one. As long as we feed the stomach with carbs, sugars, and fried foods, this is a continuous process. The moral of the story is, in order to prevent CVD, the cardiovascular disease, we are supposed to compulsorily include colorful vegetables and fruits that are packed with nutrients and fibers in our diet. Like those colorful veggies and fruits, our agenda is also packed with 6 varied projects from Pathways. To deliver the objectives of the first project, we have a retired banker and a dynamic leader from MMTC who knows when to lead a team, when to manage people, and when to stand down. He was past president of MMTC as well as Area 9 director. Distinguished Toastmaster Donald Pinto, the virtual dais is yours.
Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Indeed, a privilege to have a joint session, and indeed my privilege to have the evaluation being done for a very renowned speaker. The speaker is moving into the persuasive influence track, and the project entails evaluation and feedback. TTM Brilliant will walk us through today. Having completed the first project, he will experience the phase 2 of the second project on the similar lines. Basically, he is expected to demonstrate that he could narrate and recite a story and apply the feedbacks that he had received in his previous speech. Other than that, the elements that he needs to remember is he can present the same speech or a new speech. The speech also may have its styles, which could be humorous, informational, or any style that the member chooses. Considering the member being seasoned and a DTM in brilliance. I expect a wonderful session to go through and listen through his journey. And I wish him well. DTM Brilliant SK. Back to you, the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you. To deliver the first speech titled To Be a CC, we have a 5 times DTM from Bombay Toastmasters Club, who was the first District 98 Director, immediate past Region 13 Advisor, first President to help BTM achieve President's Distinguished Club with a perfect 10 in the year 2009 and 10. DTM Brilliant, the screen is yours.
May I check, am I audible? Check. May I interrupt you?
Yes.
May I interrupt you?
Yes.
Ms. Toastmaster Brilliant.
Yes, please.
Okay, can you see the timer? May I request all the video participants to please close your video so that the timer can be seen for the speaker? Can you see the timer at the number one?
Yes, timer 1 I can see.
Okay, fine. Thank you. You can proceed.
Just one moment. I'm still seeing some videos on. So if you could ask people to switch off.
May I request all the videos to make your videos in off mode so that the timer can see the, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, this seems better. Check, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Check 1, check 2. I had a life, Toastmasters and guests. Like the most of you here, I had a life. And then the most unthinkable happened. I got married. Now I have a wife. Being married and being a part of a nuclear family comes with its own ups and downs. While nuclear family has nothing to do with science. Okay, on second thoughts, it's about physics, chemistry, and biology as well. Physics. You end up trying to offload all the household chores onto the other side so that the scales are tilted in your favor to give you rest and be stress-free. The occasional push and pull, passing on the blame for things that did not work, is part of physics. Chemistry. What do I say about chemistry? Unless there is absolute chemistry, nothing works. Not even Newton's law. Unfortunately, as Sergeant at Arms Rajkaran said, we refrain about talking from religion, politics, and chemistry. I'll not talk about the other types of chemistry and related actions. Biology. When it's time to fight, the muscles that were inactive become hyperactive and you gain additional powers to fight a battle. And the most integral part of every marriage, thermodynamics. It is the science of energy conversion where it involves heat and other forms of energy. Husbands in this room today, you may be experiencing deja vu. Trust me, every day there are instances of boiling and cooling. My wife is always boilingly furious on my lackadaisical attitude towards cooking. And the downside of a boiling wife is that I end up being cool. With an ice pack on my eye that turned blue, I take pride in stating that I help her 50% of the time. She cooks and I just eat. My wife's constant nagging had made me take up the CC track. 10 projects and I'm through. That's what I thought. Oh no, it's not the traditional competent communicator manual that I'm talking about. It's the competent cook of the Marriage Institute. Come to think of it, the CC track has its own parallels to the traditional CC path of Toastmasters. Icebreaker. Just like at Toastmasters, the easy way to begin the track was chopping, washing, and segregating vegetables for my wife to start cooking. Project number 2, organize the meals. Difficult but attemptable. The salad first or the dessert? If you're asking these questions before the guests arrive, welcome to the club. Given my freshman status at the cooking, my wife gave me the task of organizing and selecting delectable dishes when the guests arrive. Just like at the end of every Toastmaster speech, we have an evaluation. The format is pretty simple and easy to remember. CRC. Commend, recommend, commend. However, at home, it follows a slightly different path. It's always recommend, recommend, recommend. I was not the only one who was to give up, so I took the challenge to go to the project, get to the plate. Salad and dressing. General purpose, prepare the basic salad using ingredients dictated by you know who. Specific purpose, to give sadistic pleasure to my spouse to see me in a messy situation. How to serve it. Project number 4. Focus is on vivid imagery, the short and sweet servings, selecting the right ingredients, organizing and imagining how the meal would look after cooking. By the way, do I break the egg before boiling or after boiling? Anyway, forget it. Presenting my first fully cooked meal, rock solid and sizzling hot. Oh well, I always thought something was burning. Then I came to project number 5, Your Curry Speaks. Using spices, condiments, coconut oil to achieve the project objectives to make the curry smooth and with natural consistency. Not too gooey, not too watery. The first of milestone that was tough to crack. Project number 6, taste variety. Project number 6, bringing in variety in cooking. Wanted me to be expressive, experimental, and enthusiastic. Enthusiastic in the hope that someone would eat what I have cooked and say in confidence, wow, that's tasty. Project number 7, research your meat. The most important project for me. Chicken, lamb, fish, pork, all are different, especially when you cook it. They must be handled delicately, cleaned enough to make sure that they are edible. More so since my wife is a vegetarian. I gained valuable insights and lessons from my mother-in-law, and the mother of all search engines, Google. Project number 8, get comfortable with microwaves. Project number 8 is one of the key projects in my journey to be a competent cook. I learned that thawing is different from grilling the microwave at 900 watts for 2 minutes. The microwave has in a way become my very best friend. Unlike at Toastmasters, project number 9 and 10 had to be delivered together, persuading with power to inspire my life, to taste the dishes that I have doled out based on my experimentations. I have successfully completed Distinguished Toastmasters 4 times over at Toastmasters. I am confident that I will sail through someday to become a CC. Yes, let me get back to mincing, dicing, lest I forget. My evaluator has not yet given me a positive evaluation on the last 2 projects that I delivered in my quest to be a competent cook. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, DTM. Brilliant. That was a brilliant speech. Yes. To deliver the objectives of the second project, we have an IT consultant, a passionate and a competent communicator from BTM, who is also a sportsperson and voracious reader. Toastmaster Manan Dolakia, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. The next speaker is going to present her speech from the pathways of dynamic leadership, where she is going to present her level 1 project 3 speech, which deals with researching and presenting. The project addresses topic selection strategies, suggestion for research and methods, for producing a well-organized speech. Timer, please note, the timing would be from 5 to 7 minutes. All the best to Toastmaster Jaybala. Over to you, Timur.
Thank you, Toastmaster Manan. To deliver the second speech titled Love Yourself, we have an inspiring personality from MMTC. Have you heard of the Sanskrit word Swayambhu? Yes, she is a self-made woman, a renowned entrepreneur in Oman. Toastmaster Jayabala Shah, the screen is yours.
Lights, camera, action. That was my bald scalp become a reflector and photograph in hands. This is not the case. Actually, I remember years ago, we had a family gathering at our residence with few family friends. My younger daughter, being a curious at tender age, she followed one of our family friends and asked, "Uncle, where is your hair?" He neglected her. After a few minutes, again, she went and asked, "Uncle, where is your hair?" This man again neglected her and shifted his position from another place. This happened several times. Everyone was wondering why he's playing a musical chair. Actually, this little girl could not control herself, and she followed him, stood in front of him and said, "Uncle, where is your hair?" Good evening, one and all. Normally, men, husbands are used to say, "After my marriage, my wife plucked my hair and I am bald." No, my friends, this baldness might start from your teenage. Let me explain. If this starts from teenage, as the number of years grow, the thicker hair becomes a thinner hair. More than 95% hair loss caused men by known as a androgenic alopecia. And it is like known as a male pattern baldness. All have the same level of testosterone, but their hair roots have some special receptor of testosterone, which is genetic. The main cause of baldness is like increase the sensitivity of your hair roots to hormone, under the influence of which the hormones get thinned out and it's fall. The hormone that makes hair shorter and thinner, like it is more sense in the male have the tend to bald earlier compared to the female. Another important reason is stress. A stressful life also causes the baldness. And the hair stops growing permanently. The baldness typically refer to the excess hair loss from this part of the skull, this part exactly. Okay,
Let us say about the female. The female hair loss also caused by androgenic alopecia. The woman with the female pattern baldness usually experience the getter hair thinner, which affect the volume of hair, and usually they are bald from this part, like exactly this part of the skull. Okay, the menopause hormone change after the menopause accelerator to the female pattern baldness. It can be a result of heredity. If father or mother are bald, child is more likely to bald earlier. It is common for the male and the female, like hormone changes, like medical condition, or you can say like medication also, like chemotherapy for cancer. That's Japan. Of course, yes, there is a treatment. Normally, the medical treatment, minoxidil lotion, that increase the blood supply in your hair roots. Another finasteride of the anti-hormone, this will prevent the hormone acting on your hair, but it is having a side effect like sterility. This young male, because supporting their hormone, usually doctor does not allow to give this type of treatment. They give some other solution. Even the female also can use this finasteride approved for the baldness. And the permanent solution is the hair transplant. Like from the back part of the skull, exactly this one, is known as the occipital region, where the hairs are not sensitive at all. Even your body hairs are not sensitive hormone. Even you can use the beard's hair, which will help you out the getting hair grow fast. We must stop caring about the other thing of our look. Once we being valuing ourselves, world will follow too. Life is beautiful. Take care of your hair. Take care of your happiness. Love your life with hair or without hair. Mogembo Kushua. Over to you, T.A. Modi.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jaybala Shah. That was an amazing speech. After a very long time, we are seeing you as a speaker today. Requesting the audience members to post your comments in the chat box personally to the speakers. The third and the fourth speeches are the same projects for which one evaluator will deliver the objectives. This evaluator is a chartered accountant professional, the Diwali cracker of Morison Muscat Toastmasters Club, who, in my opinion, is a star speaker, evaluator, and debater. He is a voracious reader and a recent debate champion of District 105. Toastmaster Niaz Ali, the screen is yours.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Modi Meenakshi, for that wonderful, if undeserved, introduction. I'm very happy to be here as a part of this joint session. It's a historic session, and I'm really happy that I had a role to play in this session. Thank you, everybody. My speaker, Toastmaster Moideen, is about to embark on Level 2, Project 1, Innovative Planning, the pathway of innovative planning. And this speech is on the path, understanding your leadership style. Now, in terms of understanding your leadership style, this speech should have all the ingredients of a normal Toastmaster speech. What do I mean by that? I mean, he must have vocal variety, eye contact, of course, as eye contact permits in this medium. He must have voice variety. He must be able to communicate his ideas with clarity to the audience. All of these ingredients are necessary. But in addition to that, the one thing that he has to have in this speech is he must narrate his leadership experience, his personal leadership style, and how it has impacted himself and his colleagues at work or wherever he has exercised this time. So these are the ingredients. Now, I am not familiar with the speaker because of joint sessions, so I do not know about his past, but I am sure if he has come this far, he's going to go further. So I look forward very eagerly to hearing his speech. Over to you, T.M. Modi.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nias. The third speaker is from BTN, who is an entrepreneur with business in IT and manufacturing, a badminton player, and a passionate Toastmaster. His speech title is True Leadership Qualities. Let me hand over the virtual dais to Toastmaster Mohideen Mustafa.
Thank you, Toastmaster, for the day. Toastmaster for the day, fellow Toastmasters, my mentor Babu, friends and guests. A very good evening to all of you. When we talk of leaders, some of the names that immediately come to our mind are Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, Indira Gandhi, Adolf Hitler, Steve Jobs, Henry Ford. Yes, they were indeed well-known leaders of the time and are even remembered today. Each of these leaders bring to our mind a varied attributes and styles of leadership skills. Among them were those who led social causes, those who led the army and military, then political leaders and business leaders. One thing common in all of them that made them so famous and remarkable as leaders is their qualities to persuade people to follow them. Now, what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of Hitler as a leader? A dictator, a fascist, a person who had an obsessive desire for power. On the other hand, when we think of Nelson Mandela as a leader, a very much loved leader who suffered throughout his life leading the struggle for the black rights. Now, let us see what are the essential requirements for leadership. The major traits could be measured in the 3 C's. First is competence. A leader should have the ability to lead from the front and should have the courage to take prompt and immediate actions on crucial matters. As an example of this is Chandragupta Maurya, the founder of the Mauryan Empire in ancient India. And a recent example from the business world could be Bill Gates, who built the Microsoft empire. And the second is communication. Most of us have heard the speech, the famous speech, I have a dream. Yes. One should show high levels of skills when communicating so as to persuade and influence the followers. Third is character. Character is the most important for any and all kinds of leadership. Character is fundamental for effective leadership. It is character that builds trust. If people don't trust you, there won't be any followers. And without any followers, humility and simplicity of character. Now let us move on to leadership goals and style. Some leaders put on a display of popularity, power, showmanship, or wisdom in terms of long-term planning. But these are not the true essence of leadership. The goals and styles of leadership for each individual varies. For a political or a social activist, it would be for pursuing a passionate personal and social cause. For others, it could relate to community leadership, religious leadership, or business leadership. In businesses today, the term leadership is who acts as a leader for under behavior and leadership style. uh, Behavior and leadership style has a serious impact on the desired, not only on the desired outcome, but also on the people whom you lead. Different situations and circumstances demand different style, and one needs to adapt accordingly to achieve the goal. So what are the true qualities of leadership? I, for myself, practice, believe and practice a leadership style that creates emotional bonds, teamwork, and harmony. A style that is affiliative, democratic, and innovative. But again, depending on the given situation and the need, I will not be averse to adapting a style that is
Thank you, Toastmaster Bidin Mustafa. You truly lived the speech title through your speech. Now, the evaluator for the fourth speech is a finance professional, a versatile Toastmaster from Morison Muscat Toastmasters Club, who is a prolific speaker and a role model leader. He is one of the very few Toastmasters who has donned almost all the club officer positions up to area directorship as well. He recently attained the Distinguished Toastmaster title, who is now in pursuit of his second DTM in the pathways. DTM Nathan Subramanian with us. Now, to deliver the fourth speech titled Leadership is Action, Not Position, we have a Toastmaster who is a banker, a competent communicator in the traditional Toastmasters path, and has served as treasurer of BTM. Toastmaster Shirish Badwe, the screen is yours.
Am I visible? Am I audible?
You are audible.
Yeah. Leadership action, not position. A leadership style refers to a leader's characteristic behaviors when directing, motivating, guiding, and managing groups of people. Great leaders can inspire political movements and social change. They can also motivate others to perform, create, and innovate. Good evening, Toastmaster Day, fellow Toastmaster, and my dear guests. Leaders are made and not born. Leadership is a set of skills that can be learned through training, practice, and observation. If you watch people whom you think are great leaders, you can immediately see that there are vast differences in how each leader leads. Most great leaders have a style that is unique to them and includes traits developed over time through a variety of leadership experiences. Great leaders tend to motivate and inspire. They encourage those they lead to the better themselves and the people around them. Qualities that define a good leader are effective leaders are excellent communicators and display a high level of personal integrity. They are open-minded, optimistic, and lead by example. Friends, tell me who come to your mind when I say a perfect team player who backs his team and remains calm and quiet under all circumstances. Yes, MS Dhoni. Friends, he leads from front and same time gives credit to his team members and places them in a limelight. He has led the handling seniors like Sachin and Saurav, and simultaneously, same time, younger players like Virat and Ashwin, he takes risks, innovates, and brings out the best from the team members. Now I am giving you second example. Please guess. He started his humble beginning, but builds a life that express many of his passion from science to social development to teaching. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He is known to world as a first scientist who went on to become a president of India from 2002 to 2007. He was the aeronautical engineer. He was instrumental for 4 decades in developing India's space research program and as well as defense program. He was admired for his insight on literature, philosophy, and spirituality. He was thinker and visionary that India and world needed. He inspired others to dream big and led through example. In our history, there are few infamous leaders who have taught what not to do. One such leader is Adolf Hitler, who was a dictator. His style of leadership works when a leader extremely knowledgeable. But I believe it has more cons than pros. The dictatorial leadership style focuses on leader and no one else. It is a style of leadership where there is always personal control over the decision making process for the team. Hitler was did indeed destruct most of the generals. One reason Hitler lost the World War II was that he did not fully understand the situation. Bearers of bad news were punished. Soon, no one dares to tell him the truth. The shoot the messenger badly mentality, where literally shooting the bearers of bad news cost him badly. Leaders who don't listen will eventually surrounded by people who have nothing to say. Now, when I assess my leadership style, I realize that my leadership style changes based on the situation and people that being led. Leadership is not just one quality. It is the blend of many qualities. No one individual possesses all of the needed talents that should go into leadership. I believe each man can develop a combination which make him a leader. Over the time, I developed many such qualities and have talent what to be or what not to be. And they are to be strong but not rude, to be bold but not bully, to be thoughtful but not lazy, to be proud but not arrogant. The leadership is action, not position. Over to Toastmaster.
Wow, two different perspectives for the same project. Thank you, Toastmaster Shirish. To deliver the objectives of the fifth project, we have a Toastmaster from BTM who is an engineer entrepreneur, a marathon cyclist, a foodie, and past president and area director. Over to you, Toastmaster Manish Kamdar.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My speaker is attempting Level 3 Project 2 from Leadership and Development track. The objectives of the speech, the purpose of the speech is to begin developing a collection of humorous stories and to present a speech that includes humor. Timer, please note the timing is 5 to 7 minutes. All the best.
Good evening, Toastmaster of the Day, dear fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Today, I would like to share incidences of my life that have already happened or still happening with me. Without taking much time, fasten your seatbelt and join me a roller coaster ride of my life. Flashback. When I was in college, my younger brother and I both were in same college. I don't know whether it's fortunate or unfortunate. We used to go to our college by our own private vehicle. Yes, our scooty. One fine day, while returning back from college, my brother said, "Let me refill the petrol tank. It won't take much time. Please go and stand at the exit of petrol station." So I did the same. Here I would like to bring the attention that my brother is fond of music. After filling the fuel in the scooty tank, he put on his earphone, helmet, started the scooty and sped past without picking me up from there. I was frightened as my house is 4 miles away from there and I forgot my purse at home that day. I started shouting and chasing him by calling his name. "Hadi, Hadi, please stop." Looking at my situation, one of petrol attendant also joined me and started shouting, "Brother, brother, your younger sister is left behind." When his words hit my ear, I forgot all my concerns and worries. I glared at him and said loudly, "I am his elder sister." He looked at me surprisingly for a few seconds, and then he went back to his work without saying anything. His silence spoke 1,000 words, and that wasn't compliment for me at all. I was kept on asking myself why it happens to me. And it took me a long time to accept myself the way I am. But eventually it happened. And I started taking these incidences as my compliments. I changed my perspective. I chose wise from my life. I am not short. I am more down to earth than other people. Many times, I didn't even pay entrance ticket or paid only half ticket. That shows my inbuilt accountancy skills that pay half, enjoy full. After completion of my graduation, I got job in India, which was completely different with my personality. Would you guess which profession I'm talking about? Lecturer. Yes. And my students looked older to me. On the very first day of mine, while I was going to my class, some students joined me and started, without knowing I'm a lecturer, started chatting casually. When we reached the class, one of the students told, "Hey, join us." I stood there for a few seconds and then went on the stage silently, said, "Class, please settle down. I am your teacher." A pin drop silence was heard in the entire room for some time. I approached that student and said, "Don't worry, dear, it happens to me." Last year, I joined Toastmasters Club. And on the very first day of mine, our immediate past president approached me and said, "Hey dear, better you join our Gavel Club. Many more mega events we are planning to organize for Gaveliers. You would be enjoy over there." Being a mother of 2 kids, I was so overwhelmed with these words. My magic still works and it still happens to me. I never wear flats. My shoes are so big that even sometimes I stepped after them, then people look around in confusion and say, "Where will she go?" And I have to say, "Hello, I am down here." Over to Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hamisha. Audience, requesting you to post your personal comments to each of the speaker, if you wish, on the chat box personally to each of them. Now, to deliver the speech objectives of the 6th speech, we had a seasoned Toastmaster from BTM, who was past president, a captivating speaker, and a brand consultant. Toastmaster Sunil Agarwal, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Today's speaker is attempting the project 4 from the building social media presence. And the purpose of the speech is to apply the understanding of social media to enhance or establish social media presence. And also share some experience, some aspect that they have developed to enhance the experience. What you Toastmaster?
Now to deliver the sixth project titled Diamonds, we have an HR professional who captivates everyone with his majestic stage appearance and a strong voice. He has served as Vice President Public Relations of MMTC in the past. Toastmaster Rajiv Vakail, the screen is yours.
Good evening, Toastmasters. Audible?
Yes, you are audible and visible as well.
All right. I request you to give me I need to share my screen. So you have to give me that authorization.
Yeah, let me give. Yes, Rajiv, you can do it now.
All right. Okay. So can I start?
Yes, please.
All right. Good evening, Toastmasters. What are your diamonds? Diamond, it can be a metaphor for representing success, treasure, happiness. Today, I mean diamond as your skills, your capabilities, and your tools. You have it in yourself, which you can access any point of time to bring success or happiness. Networking, I consider it as one of my diamond, and which was buried under for a long time like a diamond. And I was waiting for an opportunity to bring back my diamond. So the COVID time, it was an opportunity for me to brush up my networking, just like brushing up diamond and reconnecting with the people. So I took the opportunity of LinkedIn, which is the professional social networking, to enhance my networking skills to connect with more people. And I've got a small presentation here, which I'll be sharing it. Hope you can see this. Hello?
Yes,
yeah.
we can see. Yes.
All right. So this is my LinkedIn homepage, which is a straight one. If you Google it about me, you will divert to this, or even you can search it on LinkedIn. You will reach to this homepage. And I wanted to rebuild or rebrand my LinkedIn page to have a better visibility. So I was looking, how am I going to represent myself? How am I going to brand myself as in LinkedIn? So I was looking for a beautiful summary which could represent myself. So I thought I took a word, the people, organization, and workplace, which is something I selected, which represent, I am a person, I am an organization man, I am somebody who's into organization and workplace. And if you also see my homepage, I took a quote from Steve Jobs, which says, there is always one more thing to learn. I wanted to give this message to my viewers that I'm a person who's always keen to learn. And when you have a LinkedIn page, it is very important or essential to demonstrate your expertise, such as your education, your experience, your skills, your networks, and etc. So let me take you a little more inside of it. So this is the page, this is the place where you can see my experience, where I've mentioned about my company which I was associated earlier, that is Larsen Toubro, and the company which I'm currently associated, that is a Bhavan Group here. And here comes to my education. This is something very important when you are connecting somebody, your college mate, your batch mate. It's important that you have demonstrate this particular, you have displayed this properly. So you can see that I'm a graduate. I've done my MBA from Nasi Monchi. And there is one thing in my working in abroad or even the globalization environment taught me. If you want to have more visibility internationally, you also need to have certain education from abroad. So this is the reason, recently I have completed a course from the Water School, which gives me a very good visibility on my profile. This helped me in branding in my education. Then it's also important when you in the LinkedIn page, you also chose about your certifications. Like for HR profession, there are 2 certificates which I proudly mention here, which is about a certificates from, it's called Senior Professionals in Human Resource from HRCI and Senior Certified Professional from SHRM. Both are recognized and most recognized institute in HR. And which also, all these certificates you can digitally verify. This is something we can bring authenticity to your portfolio. Somebody can see my certification there. And also you can see that I also mentioned about my volunteering experience, the Toastmastering. You are a Toastmaster, you can't live without that. So that also gives you some kind of edge on your portfolio. This is something I'm coming to, this is the connections, which is very important. And there you can see that I've connected around 6,200 people in LinkedIn. It is not only you connect with various people, which can be helpful for many occasions, it's also important to look for the privacy of the connections. And during this course, I removed many connections which I felt they are not proper informations. So I also very particular about when I'm accepting the new invitations. And this is a place where your social people, your social network, they can endorse your skills. Where somebody, you can see people who endorse me on performance appraisal and talent acquisition, which can give you more authenticity. Then comes to, you can follow certain companies, you can follow certain people. This is something, a page which I wanted to say. This is a group which I did recently. Many groups I've joined, which gives me an opportunity to be part of a networking with various like-minded people. And you can also track your performance, like your dashboard, how many people are viewed your profile, how many people viewed your posts. This is all very important when it comes to social media. What is your reach and how many people are searching your profile? I track this very periodically to get maximum boost. And also, I'm also regularly following the Toastmasters International in LinkedIn. And with these efforts, I really got into a great learning curve. It is something like finding a diamond within you. Without moving out from your place, you're finding a diamond. So Toastmasters, please find your diamond which is within you. Over to PM Modi.
Wow, that was a very timely placed speech, I must say, especially in this COVID and uncertain times. Thank you, Toastmaster Rajiv. Timer, Toastmaster Rahul, can we have the report on the time taken by each speaker?
Hello? Hello?
Yes, Rahul, we can hear you.
You can see screen. Hello?
Yes, we can see the screen.
The first speaker took 6 minutes and 52 seconds.
Qualified.
Second speaker, Jaiwala Shah, took 7 minutes 27 seconds. Third speaker, Mohindun Mustafa, taken 7 minutes and 52 seconds. Fourth speaker Shirish Barvesa taken 6 minutes 25 seconds. Fifth speaker Amit Shah took 6 minutes 6 seconds. And sixth speaker Raju Vakil took 7 minutes and 14 seconds. So one speaker to speaker number 3 is disqualified.
Thank you, Rahul. Thanks for the report. The Zoom master, Toastmaster Raj Karan, will do the needful now for the voting. So are we going to launch the polling? Toastmaster Raj
Yes,
Karan?
I'll be sharing the Google Forms link in few minutes.
Correct. Okay. So I think we can move on with the session. Requesting the Toastmaster members to cast the voting for the best speaker, and I humbly request the guests to please refrain from voting. Are dear ones to end up in a quandary or a quagmire situation. Including fiber-rich vegetables and fruits in our diet do help prevent clogging arteries. To an extent, Toastmasters teaches us how to communicate when caught off guard. To practice speaking impromptu, we have a table topic master who is a teacher, educator, and a passionate human being caring for the planet Earth, passionate about public speaking as well as Zumba dancing. Toastmaster Manjeet Kaur, the table topic master, the screen is yours.
Good evening and marhaba to all these loving hearts that are beating in this joint meeting today of MNTC and BTN Club. I can only see red hearts. Oh, no, I can still see only red hearts instead of faces on the screen. Well, I'm so sorry, Toastmaster Meenakshi, Toastmaster of the Day. While you were talking about the pathological effects and the caring and nurturing of the health of the heart, I could not help thinking about the romantic aspect of love and heart. Good evening, Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, guests, all of you, for this lovely evening of this is not to have nerves of steel and hearts made of hard rock. Well, this is not to frighten you, but let me remind you of certain things. Do you remember your viva that you had during your college days or during your project? Or do you remember your interview for your first job? Or do you remember confessing your infatuation to your first crush? Palpitating heart, dry throat, lost voice, and a blank mind? Well, deja vu, I'm sure many of you must be experiencing that right now. There are so many situations in our life where we have just got dumbfounded and tongue-tied. So, Toastmasters has got this segment, Table Topics, where it trains you in a very safe and non-threatening atmosphere to speak on your toes. So what does one do in this section? Well, the Table Topics Master has got a list of topics with him or her and invites some brave heart to come onto the stage, pick up the topic, and then you're supposed to speak impromptu, extempore, spontaneously on that topic. And this trains you to speak on your toes. Get your thoughts together and shoot. Not arrows at the heart, please. So I think this is one very important life skill which helps us survive the worst of situations. And also, the best of speeches have come out with people, from people who have spoken spontaneously. So then, should we begin? Should we go ahead with this round of table topics? Well, let me first get the rules. The table topics is open to our members and guests also. You would be given a topic, and once the topic has been read out to you, you have minimum of 1 minute and maximum of 2 minutes to speak on it. And since the word for the day today is deja vu, I would also encourage the people who come to the days today, to our virtual days, to also make use of the word of the day. So shall we get started? I would now like to tell you about how we shall go about selecting the topics. I have certain words with me. You know, these are the words that make me feel normally warmth in my heart. And so I have selected these words. What I would want the participants to do is to select the word, and then on the basis of the word written on the chit, I would be reading out your topic to you. One disclaimer, there would be no connection between the word that is there and the topic which would come out of this chit. So first I would announce these words, and do not worry if you don't remember. I would announce them again and during the segment. My list of words are a baby's smile, soft music, chocolates, a bouquet of fresh flowers, a star-studded sky, a moonlit night. So yes, now let's begin. Let me invite, today being a special meeting, instead of volunteering, I would be taking some names and I would be inviting them to come to these brave hearts to take the first step and speak spontaneously. May I invite Toastmaster Sam Cherian? Mr. Cherian, would you please select a word from the list of words that I had read out? Do you remember the words?
Ma'am, your voice is not clear.
Yeah, we are having a problem with your audio, sir.
Sam, can you please switch off your AC if you don't mind? Is it the AC? Or the fan? Either fan or AC, either one.
No, it's not clear. Not clear yet.
Hello.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, Mr. Cherian.
Is it better now?
Yes. Yes. Very much clear now. Yeah. Would you tell me what is the choice of your words from this list?
A bouquet of flowers.
Okay. Fine.
I can actually hear myself, so I wonder why I'm getting an echo.
We can clearly hear you. Should I go on?
Yes, please.
Zoom Master?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes, you can start.
Toastmaster Cherian, Mr. Cherian, the more you give, the more you get. The more you give, the more you get. Toastmaster Cherian.
The more you give, the more you get. Clearly, as warned by the table topic master, the phrase I chose and the topic has no connection. And thankfully so. The more you give, the more you get. In fact, I've always believed that giving is probably one of the easiest habits that one could practice. Now, whether it is a festival or there is a good reason to give, most of us are well versed in giving, either to charity or for a requirement, or when we see that there is a need. But then I've always maintained that if you have to learn how to give, you actually have to learn how to give till it hurts or till it doesn't hurt at all. If there were a way to heaven or to the good that all of us want in our lives, and giving was a way to get there, you and I would easily buy our way in. Therefore, I don't attach any value to anybody giving anything on charity. Giving, in my opinion, is just accepting that some things come easy in life, some have to be fought for. Some are free, some are earned. Freely you receive, so freely give. Therefore, the more you freely give, the more you freely receive, whether it be happiness or money. The more you give, the more you get. Over to you, table topic master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sam Cherian. Very rightly said, the more you give, the more you get of happiness. I would now like to invite our next Braveheart for the next table topic. And may I invite Ms. Toastmaster Rajendra Verma. Yes, Toastmaster Rajendra Verma, could you please give your pick from these list of words?
Baby smile.
Okay. Yeah. The difference between try and triumph is the umph, U-M-P-H. Toastmaster Rajendra Verma. Toastmaster Rajendra Verma, the difference between try and triumph is the umph, the little umph, U-M-P-H.
Thank you, Madam Table Topic Master and fellow Toastmasters of MMTC and BTC. A very good evening to all of you. All of us, in our quest to develop ourselves, we try our best to do things in a way that it is expected to be done. And at the end, if we succeed in doing it, we say that we have triumphed. But let's remember one thing. If we never took that first step, if we never thought of doing something, if we never decided to move ahead and do it, where would the try come from? Very rightly said, But there is something wrong if you don't get up and start trying again. Trying is something that is the first step which anybody can take if they want to triumph or succeed. Because there are so many people who just give it up even before they try by saying that this is not my cup of tea. Take table topics, for example. As you very rightly said, of all those palpitations and the heart burns that people have speaking in table topics, and if they're going to avoid themselves from speaking in a table topic, whenever would they learn to speak? If only a person could read a book and learn swimming, then all of us would have been swimmers today. We need to dig ourselves and jump into the water to learn swimming, isn't it? How else would you think that you could achieve triumph? The oomph part of it is, of course, the sweetest. When you try something and when you succeed, that is the day you say that you have triumphed, and there comes your oomph. But to my knowledge, that oomph is only a byproduct. It is secondary. It may come, it may not come. But what should certainly happen is try. And once we try and oomph together are not far away. Madam Table Topic Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rajendra Verma. That was truly very motivational. I would now invite our next table topics speaker. Can we have Toastmaster Anthony Isaac? Yes. Yes, Toastmaster Isaac. What would be your pick of the words?
Starlit night.
All right. Yeah. Toastmaster Anthony Isaac. All the world's a stage. All the world's a stage. Toastmaster Anthony Isaac.
Madam Table Topic Master, there is a story that says that we are in this world going through a dream, and that's where the philosophy that this life is a dream. I now take you to the world in which we consider ourselves as dreaming, according to that philosophy. We see that this world is a place where we have come to live, and how do we make sure that we make that life seen by not only yourself, but by others too? And where does that take place? It takes place on a stage, a platform, a place where you can showcase what your life is all about. And we have done that right from our childhood in different locations, in different jurisdictions. And in the end, we look back and then see where we have acted and how. As a child, probably I was in India playing the stage that Indians act out. As a professional, I moved out and started playing the stage wherein I was a professional in a place called Muscat. And moving on from there to the Western Hemisphere, I had to go to another stage with my family where they are acting out as people living in that part of the world. So when you look at the way in which we are currently living our life, the world is a stage. It depends where you start and where you end. But in the end, you are still participating in that journey of life, whichever may be the platform, whichever may be the stage, in whichever part of this globe it may be.
Over to you, Madam Toastmaster. Madam Table Topic Master.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Anthony Isaac. Very truly said, life is a stage and we keep assuming different roles while we play our role on this journey of life. Can we have someone from BTM volunteering, or Gorang? Okay.
Hello, Toastmasters. Thank you for this opportunity. I think I'd like to go with soft music.
Okay, okay, Toastmaster Gorang. Your table topic is I just called to say. Toastmaster Gorang. Toastmaster Gorang, I just called to say.
Okay, so this reminds me of a story. I actually went on an exchange trip to Germany a couple of months ago. And over there, I actually met a lot of new people. I got to know more of my classmates who came along with me, and I got to know people from different culture, which was Germany. In that culture, I experienced that I really started to like one person over there. And I spoke to them when I went on the trip to Germany and got to know them really well. And all my friends were persuading me to, ask them out or, like get to know them better, or even after the trip was over. So on the last day of the trip in Germany, I actually had a phone call with them. And what I actually intended to do was to ask them out, but what I ended up saying was that it was great knowing you, and I slipped out of that opportunity. But then what I realized is that even after that I came back, I could possibly chat with them, and it was a great experience to know. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gorang. Thank you for that, sharing your experience with us. Do we have time for just one more last speaker?
No, madam, we are already exceeding our time.
All right.
Yeah.
Since we are running short of time, I would like to conclude this segment. And the only thing that I would say, my parting words to all of you are that it is very true that we have to take care of the health of our heart with the right kind of nutrition and exercise, but we also need lots and lots of love in our heart to be healthy. So learn to love yourself and the people around you. And over to you, Toastmaster of the Day, Meenakshi.
Thank you, Table Topic Master, Toastmaster Manjeet. Your timekeeper's report, can we have? Yeah, I think we have to put a spotlight on timer's screen.
Table topic speaker, first speaker, Toastmaster Sam Cherian took 2 minutes 7 seconds.
Rahul?
Yeah, you can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but the screen which you're sharing is for the project speakers, not for the
Yes, I can.
Yeah, no problem. You can verbally tell us, no problem.
Toastmaster Sam Cherian took 2 minutes 7 seconds. Toastmaster Rajendra Verma took 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Toastmaster Anthony took 2 minutes 22 seconds. And Toastmaster Gaurang took 1 minute 25 seconds.
Master to take note of this, and he will publish the Google links for voting for the best table topic speaker. Meanwhile, we can move on with the session. It's high time that we evaluate what we should and should not include in our diet. There is always an area for improvement in whatever we do. Let us take our food as medicine, else we will end up taking medicine as food. Prevention is always better than cure, isn't it? Now, to conduct the evaluation segment of today's session, we have a Toastmaster who was one of the founding members of BTM, past district director, mentor, and advisor for Mumbai Leadership Group. Distinguished Toastmaster Arvind Nair, the screen is yours.
Shukran. Masah al khair. Assalamu alaikum, Toastmasters. It's a deja vu when I hear Muscat, Morison, words like that, because it takes me back to 1975, between 1975 and 1987, when I was in Muscat.
Hello, sir. One minute. Hello, sir.
Yes.
I want to remind that we are already exceeding our time more than 15 minutes. So
Okay.
So just a reminder.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
As the appointed cardiologist for the operation today, my task is to comment on the meeting from the time we set our eyes on each other, and if there has been any bypass or a faux pas, and suggest remedies and procedures. As we're already running late, let's not hurt the patient anymore and dive directly into the evaluations. May I now invite, the evaluations will be for 2 to 3 minutes. At 2, you'll be shown the green card. The green screen will be displayed. At 2.5, the yellow, and at 3, the red. You have 30 seconds before the green and after the red to end your speech in order to qualify for the best evaluator. May I now invite distinguished Toastmaster Donald to let us know if the speech that Brilliant delivered tickled his palate.
Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, guests, and the speaker in particular, DTM Brilliant. Let me just get back to the project one of what the recommendations given to you were. Go back to the virtual background so that you have visual influence to enhance your speech quality and content. When I look at it, and when today's speech was delivered, I could see the kitchen back, but it was purposeful and desirable to have it as the background since it conveyed a lot of sense and rationale to what the speaker was delivering. So I say that the point made by the first evaluator could be overlooked at this point and made good that the speech was delivered in context to the recommendations, but were desirable at this point of time. Now let's go further to what is to be looked at it. There was an importance to have a particular style. And so here, when the speaker started scripting his speech, he made it a point to make it very persuasive largely and make the best effort to convince the audience with a specific purpose. And so he brought the particular element of marriage and elaborated on the knowledge of having physics, chemistry, biology that can do a lot of good in doing the kitchen chores and standing good with doing small things. Wonderful way to catch the audience and keep them focused for all the time. Therefore, the audience understood the purpose. From that point of time, the speaker took 6 minutes and 52 seconds of well-utilized time to walk us through. The basics are very essential. The eye contact, the body language, and the purposeful gestures made a lot of sense and purpose to what he made because the speech was rich in content and the storytelling narrated well around the purpose that was desired to be. How does the audience know about the topic? The audience knew at the topic when he opened the marriage that it was leading into a specific purpose. And so he made the vivacious attempt to make the members to take into action, and the storytelling style of the rich content complemented on the speaker very well. Now let's look at one aspect of it. Decision making was assuring and well found. Did the audience agree? The content was already well known and was not very appealing to the audience. The pace was much faster, and hence the pauses were ineffective and made the story run on different lines. If I may summarize, the speaker needs to understand more that the Asian origin people are very familiar with the kitchen and understand that they need to help a helping hand. So there was no value addition. Used most of the gestures well, but was in sync at times and was inappropriate at times. And having completed both the evaluation, I wish you well. Thank you.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Donald. And now may I invite Manan to open his heart to Jayabala.
I'm actually not able to show my video. Toastmaster Jay Bala. It was indeed a hair-raising speech. You hit the nail on the head when you chose this topic, because this is actually the pain point for many of the Toastmasters. And believe you me, many of us look at this aspect while looking the man or the woman in the mirror every morning. So thank you very much for selecting such a relevant topic. There were many strong points in your speech. First was the start of the speech. You used the showmanship of lights, cameras, and action, which immediately glued every audience of thinking what was to expect from the speech. The second point was the humor and the use of prop. While delivering on a very serious issue of baldness, you use the prop of bald cat, which definitely intrigued and created a sense of awareness in the speakers. Also, you sprinkled the aspects of humor into it throughout your speeches. But important point in all of this and the icing on the cake was the message which was in the speech in totality. Love yourself, irrespective of what you have. That is the takeaway point for me. Another important aspect was your cheerful and pleasing personality throughout the speech, which also displayed your gestures at various moments in the speech. And the end part, the way you ended it through a Hindi movie dialogue, reaffirmed your confidence and your belief in that speech. But there are certain suggestions also which I would like to give you. Your speech was regarding researching and presentation. Now, one of the important aspects of researching is to give sources for the information. So while I heard or I could see the slides giving me a lot of information, but what was the source? The source, if it had been mentioned, would have been the authentication which would have helped the entire speech. Another important part is, while you suggested the remedies for the speech, it would have helped if you have given the examples of famous personalities from day to day who have gone through the hair transplant. That would have created awareness and would have really clicked with the audience, and they could have engaged in the speech more. So more than theoretical, it would have been more inclined towards the practical part of the speech. And finally, I thought that even the transition points were a little weak. You started with the story of your daughter for chasing your uncle. And when you gave the reasons or the medical treatments, suddenly you came to the conclusion. So the transitions could have been more better. But all in all, it was a very relevant speech. if you can work on giving more sources as well as examples while delivering the speech, I think you are definitely on the way to be a very good speaker. Over to you, Toastmaster Arvind.
Thank you, Toastmaster Manan. And now may I invite Niaz Ali to let us know if Moeddin's speech did touch his heart.
Good evening. Am I visible and audible?
Yes, you are both. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Good evening, General Lecture, fellow Toastmasters, and my speaker, Moeddin in particular. Your project was Understanding Leadership Styles. And you started off by mentioning a few leaders. And when you put in Adolf Hitler there as a leader, frankly, I was taken aback. So where does Adolf Hitler qualify as a great leader? But then later on in the speech, we went about justifying why you had Adolf Hitler as an example there to show that it was an autocratic leadership style where it was either my way or highway kind of an approach that he had. Good. That was very well done. So the Adolf Hitler was a surprise element that I think many of us sort of perked up and said, what's he talking about? So you got our attention with that little trick, and then you were able to justify why you had that leader over there. The other thing I liked about your speech, really liked about your speech, was the calm, peaceful, unhurried way in which you delivered the speech. Now, of course, that had a disadvantage in the sense that you overshot your time, and that's something that you should have focused upon. But having said that, the way you delivered the speech showed that you were in total control of what you were saying at every point in time. You had a few small hesitations in the beginning. That's perfectly understandable in a situation where you're delivering a speech in a joint club with so many people. But barring that, your delivery was absolutely cool, calm, and collected, without any hitches, without any ungainly pauses. There was clarity in what you were saying, and you were able to communicate your ideas to the audience. Also when I look at it, you had given us many examples of many leaders, and you somehow connected this to various aspects of leadership that you had highlighted to us and said, these leaders demonstrated these kinds of leadership aspects, leadership styles. So from that, we were able to infer a certain amount of what you're talking in terms of leadership styles. Now, having said that, what exactly was this project about? This project was about understanding your leadership style. And you came to that point rather late in the day, almost towards the end of your speech, when you said, my leadership style, and then you really never clarified. You said, I could be this or I could be that, I could be this way, I could be that way, I am honest. You went on talking about your attributes and traits rather than focused on what your particular leadership style was and how it has impacted you and your people, which was the objective of this project. So I would have actually expected you to have read the objectives and addressed it. I would have expected you that you should have actually blended this part, with the Adolf Hitler, with the Steve Jobs, with the Gandhi, whoever you were mentioning, how your leadership style actually went along with these leaders, and what you learned in your leadership style from these leaders would probably have been a better way of doing it. So in summary, when I think about it, I would tell that really you have not addressed the project objective of understanding leadership styles, because you did not spell out what the various leadership styles was, and you did not tell us what your particular or dominant leadership style was, your preferred leadership style, which I think was what the project wanted you to do. Having said that, I think the speech was delivered very well, and I'm sure if you take care of a few of these things, you will be a wonderful speaker. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Niaz Ali. And now may I invite Nathan Subramaniam to let us know his position, to let us know his action on Shirish's position.
General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests, and our speaker, Toastmaster Shirish Barwe in particular.
when our speaker Toastmaster series started with leadership is action and not position, immediately I could connect with this book, Start with Why. How great leaders inspire everyone to take action. I'm going through this book and I could immediately connect with this book. I would like to read the first few lines of this book. It says, there are leaders and there are those who lead. Leaders hold a position of power or influence. Those who lead inspire us. So with these lines, when the Toastmaster series talked about leadership in action, I could immediately glue to his speech. And then he posed an interactive question, and then he went about and speaking about the qualities of a leader and various leadership styles. Not only that, he gave ample number of examples like MS Dhoni and his style, Adolf Hitler, Dr. Abdul Kalam, and so on. Finally, he also came upon to his own personal leadership style, and he mentioned about how he is strong, bold, action-oriented, and other aspects. The speech was very well organized, and he was audible, and the speech was clear throughout the speech. He was comfortable speaking in front of an audience, august audience. In my opinion, humble opinion, where he could have done better, what are the areas for improvement? First and foremost, as per this project objective, as the Toastmaster Aline, as the previous evaluator said, the objective is clearly says identifying primary leadership style and speak about some aspect of primary leadership style. I think the speaker could have highlighted about his primary leadership style by quoting an example straight out of his life. I also felt the gestures were limited and repetitive in nature. Possibly, if he had stood and delivered the speech, his body gestures could have been expansive. Possibly, he need to focus on that. What I also felt, his eye contact was towards the lower, towards the screen. How can we improve eye contact on an online meeting? If it is a traditional, conventional club setting, yes, we can turn our head from one side to the other side and we can lock our eyes into someone. But here, you can look into the cameras. If, for example, I'm looking into the cameras, possibly you are feeling like I'm talking to you. That way, you can establish eye contact. Personal example, I have highlighted it. Overall, a good organized speech, clear, comfortable. Just look at these areas like gestures, eye contact, stand and deliver. I think he will grow not only as a speaker, he will also grow, not only grow, but also glow as a speaker. Thank you, over to you, evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nathan. And now, Manish Kamdar, please tell us what happened to you when you listened to Amisha's speech.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Toastmaster Amisha's speech title, It Happens to Me. When she actually sent me the speech title, I had a feeling of deja vu. And in keeping with the theme of the day, I was thinking of something like Kuch Kuch Hota Hai. She would come up with some love story or something. But it was completely different, honest to you. She opened with a question, what makes a woman happy? Honestly, no man has been able to find the answer, but it was interesting, it was intriguing, it held the audience's attention. Okay. The speech was embellished with her personal stories, which was very, very nice because we could, I was looking forward to what will happen next. So those incidents that she mentioned were very, very well, weaved into the speech. I could recommend some, areas of improvement. One is, you were standing and you were moving. You could move a bit in the room. I'm not saying too much because this is a virtual conference. You could have enacted like your brother riding away the scooter or, you calling out to him. you could have done something of that sort. And vocal variety is something which you should work upon, because you had words like silence spoke 1,000 words. Silence spoke 1,000 words. Then you mentioned about the classroom where you could hear a pin drop. You could hear a pin drop. That would probably give the audience the feeling of actually being there in the class with you when you were talking. Another thing was transitioning. When we are in a physical meeting, we can transition by moving from one spot to another, transition from stories. But in this case, we have to do it virtually. So I guess you could have used words to transition from one story to the other. So, people get the idea that you are moving on to the next story that way. Having said that, the objectives of the speech were to include a collection of humorous stories, which you did very well with your personal stories. Honestly, your smiling face was endearing to the audience, and it kept everyone hooked completely. And you were smiling throughout, which showed how much you enjoyed delivering this speech project. Really enjoyed it. Congratulations, and all the best for the next speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Manish. And now, may I ask Sunil if he was linked in to Rajiv's diamonds?
During times of social distancing, linking through LinkedIn, we learned how this social media can help you LinkedIn. Good evening, good general evaluator. Toastmaster Rajiv brought a sense of deja vu as he tried to bring a deep tutorial on how to enhance your presence on LinkedIn. He began with a smile, and he made us smile as he linked in the various jigsaw pieces that make a LinkedIn profile attractive to the audience. He shared his screen, he shared his experience, and above all, he shared his tips on how to build, discover, and shine the diamond inside you. We shed tears when we peel the onion, but we share tears of joy when the diamond reveals as it gets polished. And Toastmaster Rajiv actually showed how these tears were bringing him shine. A diamond is nothing but a piece of coal that survived pressure. And I hope Toastmaster Rajiv survives the pressure, as I am about to give him some suggestions how to make the speech better. And he himself said, there's always one more thing to learn. So while his speech was so beautifully constructed, LinkedIn, I thought there was one thing that he should have learned, that the world loves the shine, not the process of shining. The world says, show me the baby, don't talk to me about the liver. And the Toastmaster Rajiv spent his entire speech on behind the scenes of what you do to develop a LinkedIn profile, and left us wanting to know what was his achievement by taking these painstaking efforts. We wanted to know how did his enhancement improve? How did he connect with more people, which was his objective, to network in these torrid times? And above all, I thought he could have used this opportunity to tell us and inspire how investing some time on LinkedIn can actually get you linked into a lot more people to social media. The cause or the effect is always a challenge for the speaker to focus on what is the result or what is the cause. But the cause are the rough markings that count no meaning. The marks are given what you show on the actual sheet. And I trust Toastmaster Rajiv will pay more attention on what we show the baby. Toastmaster Rajiv, you have come shining like a piece of solid rock with your approach. And I'm sure now you will polish even more to share your sparkle with the world. All the best.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sunil. And now may I please have the timers report for the evaluations.
Hello. Yes, you can see on screen, Toastmaster Donald Pinto took 3 minutes 31 seconds. Toastmaster Manan Dholkia take 3 minutes 24 seconds. Toastmaster Ali Niaz took 3 minutes 50 seconds. Toastmaster Natan Subramaniam take 3 minutes 23 seconds. Manish Kamdar 2 minutes 55 seconds. And Toastmaster Sunil Agrawal took 2 minutes 51 seconds. The Toastmaster Donald Pinto and Toastmaster Ali Niaz are disqualified.
So I see some DQ against Sunil Agarwal's name. So I think you need to take that off.
251.
Yes. So it's 2 to 3 minutes. So he qualifies. He's not disqualified. It's written as DQ.
No. So yeah, I have not put it here. I have done this virtual background. So I 2 minutes 51 seconds.
All
So
right.
it qualified.
Yes. All right. So we will now have the poll for the best speaker, best evaluator. And whilst that is being done, in the interest of time, may I now invite the R counter for the R counter report, Toastmaster Forum.
Thank you so much. So sorry for that. I must say, today's session was exemplary. I honestly enjoyed the entire session. So many exceptional speakers in Bombay Toastmasters Club. In fact, I am really looking forward to seeing one of your members on the International Toastmasters platform. Such brilliant usages of phrases and such seamless and flawless speeches as well. Let me start off by the list of people who had absolutely no errors, no long pauses, no crutch words or sound in their speech. And that list starts off with your dearest President Toastmaster, Babu Narayan. Such an exemplary speaker, followed by Toastmaster Meenakshi, Toastmaster Brilliant, Toastmaster Shirish Barve, Toastmaster Manish Kamdar, Toastmaster Sunil Agarwal, Toastmaster Sam Cherian, Toastmaster Rajendra Verma, Toastmaster Anthony Isaac, Toastmaster Arvind, Toastmaster Donald Pinto, Toastmaster Manan, and Toastmaster Natan. Such exemplary speakers from both clubs, I must say, and honestly enjoyed this flawless speech session today. Just a few suggestions for the speakers here. Starting with our Sergeant at Arms Toastmaster Raj Karan had 4 hours and repeated "it may" and "give a" twice. And Toastmaster Jayabala Shah had 3 long pauses. Toastmaster Niaz Ali had 2 hours and 2 I thinks. Toastmaster Mohideen Mustafa had the phrase "yes," the word "yes" used where it was not supposed to be used, and repeated the phrase "each of these" twice and had a little bit of a long pause. Toastmaster Amisha had 1 hour. Toastmaster Rajiv Akayal, you repeated quite a few phrases. Toastmaster Manjeet had over 6 to 7 hours. Toastmaster Gaurang, Toastmaster Gaurang had around 11 to 12 hours and quite a few ands. Toastmaster Natan had, Toastmaster Natan had seamless speech. Toastmaster Manjeet, I must mention that you had, I don't know why I'm mentioning you separately, but your energy covered up those hours that you had. After the 7 hours that I counted, I stopped counting your hours as well. But throughout your table topic session, you had quite a few hours, but the energy you brought in covered those hours and ums that you had. So overall, I must say the entire session was exemplary. And I'm really looking forward to having another, either a joint session or joining one of your sessions and learning a lot from all of you. Thank you so much. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Forum. And now may I invite the grammarian for his report of this meeting today.
Good evening, everybody again. So as my report, firstly, I'd be mentioning all those who used the word of the day, that was deja vu. And there were six of them who used the word of the day. That's Toastmaster Brilliant, Toastmaster Rajkiran, Toastmaster Manjeet, Toastmaster Arvind, Toastmaster Manish, and Toastmaster Sunil. After that, I'd be mentioning the good usage of grammar, which is I help 50% of my wife's tasks. She cooks and I eat. Love your life with or without hair. Once we start valuing ourselves, life will follow. There is always one more good thing to learn. The difference between try and triumph is the ump. The ump is just a byproduct of try. It may come or it may not. Leaders are those who hold a portion of power, and those who lead inspire us. Endeavoring. And the last one is show me the baby. Don't talk about the labor. The improper usage of grammar, where first I'd be saying the improper and then I'd be mentioning the proper usage. Videos in off mode could be turn off the video. Shift his position from another position is shifted his position to another place. Reason is a stress, could be reason is stress. It is having a side effect, could be it has a side effect. I request to all the role players. I request all the role players. It is like a known as. It is known as. Hairs is pronounced as hair. It's never plural. Who come to your mind? It's who comes to your mind. Calm and quiet could be interchangeably used as calm and composed. Known to world could be known to the world. Baldness is pronounced as baldness. Echo is echo. Lead through example would be lead by example. World War II would be Second World War or World War II. Not just one quality could be not just a quality, which make him a leader. Which makes him a leader. Arrogant is arrogant. Why it happens to me could why does it happen to me? You could be enjoyed over there, could be you could enjoy there. Looking the man or woman could be looking at the man or woman. And yeah, that's all from the grammarian side. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Divyaraj. And now for the general evaluation of today's meeting. We started on time, Indian Standard Time 5:30, and I loved the way the Morison Club displayed the etiquettes that had to be followed through the meeting. And I'm sure it was wonderful. It was something new, which we may then adopt in our club as well. That was a new learning for us. The Sergeant at Arms began the meeting with welcoming the members and also stated the mission of the club. Unfortunately, he said the mission of Toastmasters. Please remember there are different missions for the Toastmasters, for the Toastmasters district, and for the Toastmasters club. So we must be very specific when we are in a meeting to say the mission of the Toastmasters club is so and so. Wonderfully introduced the presiding officer. The presiding officers, I could feel the deja vu in him when he had his mother club or his baby club all around here, the members there from there joining us. Wonderful speech by the presiding officer, who then introduced the Toastmaster of the day. The Toastmaster of the day had wonderful content, well researched and delivered so wonderfully. There was a little small, I think a small stent could have been inserted. It was inserted by her when she said, please give the feedback in the chat. This was after the second speech, and I was wondering why it was not done. But luckily, she altered it and put in a stent there. That was lovely. I wish she could have said the title twice, naming the speaker and then again the title and the speaker. Marion did a good job, and the R counter and the grammarian both displayed wonderful listening skills when they had an exhaustive report. The timer of the day, I loved when he mentioned that we're over time at a particular time, and that's what the timer has to do in addition to keeping time of all the other sections of the meeting. I wish he would have said, I would display the screen. We are not having the light. We have to bring ourselves to change what we say when we are not showing the light, and there's no amber light. It's not a traffic signal here. So it would be nice if he had said, I would display the yellow screen or the red screen. And also he did not, please understand it, saying that there is a buffer time before and after this, after the normal times to qualify is very important. Though we are seasoned Toastmasters, we need to tell, we need to remind people because we may be having guests here. The table topic master, Manjeet, wonderful. It was such a romantic thing to see you with those hearts in your eyes, all going wonderful, and explain the whole topic, the theme of the topic, table topics. And yes, it was something very different. In general, let me say that whilst the Zoom master had displayed everything properly at the beginning, I wish Rajiv could have already told the Zoom master that he would love to use to share the screen, so that just before he spoke, they could have given him the control of the screen and it could have avoided the delay. There were few things that I heard which we need to refrain from giving, from speaking short forms like TMOD or DTM. It's nice to say it in full form because we do have guests here who may not understand what these short forms are. We may need to avoid saying very, very, because using it 10 times doesn't increase the intensity. And in the English language, we do have a particular word to intensify what we need to say. The pronunciation is actually days and not dies, which is a very common mistake that's being done. We are all Toastmasters here, Toastmasters, and not good evening everybody, or not say such greetings and mention everybody. There's something that I heard, returning back. It should be just returning, because return is to get back. So the back could be avoided. Those were few of the things that I noted. And yes, ye dil ki baat hai. I enjoyed the meeting, and thank you very much for being here with us. We do look forward to having another association very soon. Thank you, and over to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, General Evaluator. You were such a sweet mother-in-law, as we always fondly regard in MMTC this role as. Commendable and laudable job by the table topics master and our sweet. Their segment, both of them, they connected their segment with the session's theme. Toastmasters and guests, it's time that we start working on ways to protect our heart. As I mentioned at the beginning of my today's address, our body is programmed to naturally produce the LDL cholesterol whenever there is an inflammation or stress. The soaking up of endotoxins with the LDL cholesterol is the culprit. Additional stress from food apart from other stress factors. Whenever your wife or mom serves you with a platter of salads for supper or dinner instead of puris and french fries, please don't make faces. Remember, you are helping your stomach to protect that mucin barrier. क्योंकि ये दिल की बात है. On this note, I would like to thank you all for being part of this joint session, historic joint session, and my heartiest thanks to the organizing team who worked behind the scene and envisaged a successful session today. I would now hand over the virtual days to the president of MMTC, who is a fitness freak, a perfectionist, calm and composed Toastmaster Chetan Shah for awards and closing remarks. Over to you, Toastmaster Chetan Shah.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the day. I would like to ask you, please, I will request you over here to please unmute yourself and answer to my question. Wasn't this session a Devaju session? If yes, applaud for the clubs originally. Before I move forward with awards, I would like to call President of Bombay Toastmaster Club, Toastmaster Babu Narayan, to say a few words. Toastmaster Babu Narayan, please come on the screen.
Thank you, Mr. President of MMTC. I didn't want to take the thunder away from you, but I just couldn't resist. This was a deja vu session by all counts. No doubt about that. They say too much of good food is not good for the digestion. But I think today I can go on having this for the rest of the night. And I'm sure that I'll be pretty fit tomorrow morning. This is what this session has done to me. And I'm pretty sure that all of you here would have really enjoyed this wonderful session. And I took the stage mainly to thank all the role players. We've been working on this for the past 1 week. We have made special groups, a special WhatsApp group, and there have been so many exchanges, telephone calls, and I cannot just thank all these role players enough, leading with the Toastmaster of the day in the forefront, and our own Club XCOM, led by Toastmaster Nivedita, who's really put in a lot of hard yards in this to make this a grand success. Kudos also to all the XCOM members of MMTC. I think you've also burnt a lot of midnight oil. And I think this is like a trailer for Abhi Picture Baki Hai. Over to you, Chetan.
Thank you very much for those words of wisdom, Toastmaster Babu Narayan. As I told you, yes, this was a deja vu session. And I would like to thank the thought that came in the minds of Morison Muscat Toastmasters Club and Bombay Toastmasters Club. Without this thought, the session wouldn't have been at the level which it has happened today. Thank you very much for that thought. May I request some guests to please give their feedbacks. I will call the guest Toastmaster Helen Soda to please come on the screen and give her feedback in short for this joint session. Helen Soda.
Yes. Good evening, all of you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to be the part of this deja vu session. Yes, always MMTC and that Orbit Toastmaster always wants together. And today I witnessed of the Bombay Toastmaster, which I never met them. So it's my pleasure to be the part of them. And really, the Toastmaster of the day was amazing. Always, sorry, not today, but always amazing. And all the speaker, heads of them, the speeches are was very nice. And the evaluators, very nice feedback. And the table topic masters, really amazing. And it's my pleasure to be the part of that. And it's my pleasure, no, so I can meet every distinguished Toastmasters. So thank you so much. And over to the president of the MMTC.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Hetal Soda. I will request one more guest, that is Satya Iyer, to please give his short feedback to us. Guest Satya Iyer.
Hi, good evening.
Please. Good evening.
It's a great pleasure to be part of this TM club. Actually, this is my second participation, and 2 weeks back I participated in the first one. I enjoyed it. I was a little disappointed, but I could not participate in the we can say one of the
table topics. Yes.
Table topics. You are right. I mean, sorry, table topics. So anyway, the time was shooting up, so I could not join. Anyway, I enjoyed the program throughout. But actually, I was in touch with Manan also. I think these 2 sessions gives me confidence to start it in my organization. So soon you can be, invites from me to join in that. Thank you.
Thank you.
You can join MMTC.
We heard guest Stephen before the start of the session. I would like to get his inputs at the end of the session also, so that we grow from here.
Certainly, I will be happy to do that. First of all, let me tell you that your meeting started at 5 a.m. of my time, and I am wide awake for it, and that's a testament to you and the way you were running this meeting. We had an open house last week at our club with 64 people in it, and I see this is a big meeting here that you have, and I know how much effort goes into preparation of such a meeting, and that you pulled that off, and there was not one moment where you had a little bit of a hang up. It was well organized. So it was my pleasure to be here, and you did a great job.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster. At 5 a.m. and you have stayed connected till the end. There are 2 announcements which I would like to do over here. The next session for Bombay Toastmasters Club is on 15th August. That is Saturday. It's an Independence Day of India. So enjoy the session on that day. And Morison Muscat Toastmasters Club will be having next session on 16th August. That is Sunday. Tomorrow we will not have our regular session. As my role is over here to thank the audience, I'll start in a way that I will thank Rajkaran Mishra to kickstart the session with confidence. President of Bombay Toastmasters Club. He rejuvenated with his presidential address to all of us. Toastmaster of the day deliberated on the theme which is very close to my heart. Ye Dil Ki Baat. You lived up to everybody's expectation, Toastmaster Meenakshi. We got to see 6 inspirational speeches. Thank you very much to the 6 inspirational speakers. I thank 6 constructive evaluators also. the scintillating table topic master. Thank you very much for that fantastic table topics. One sincere general evaluator was also there. Thank you very much to him. I thank sincerely to generous Zoom masters who helped us to conduct this session very well. One stimulating word master who gave us a word, deja vu, and we should use it in our day-to-day life also, if possible. Accurate timers kept us almost on time and kept in middle and kept coming in middle and told us not to delay further. Vigilant accounters and exuberant grammarian, they taught us how not to make the mistakes. Tireless behind the scene players, VPPRs, VPEs, and presidents of Morison Muscat Toastmasters Club and Bombay Toastmasters Club. Last but not the least, I would like to thank dear members, all of you, and the guests. Without you all attending this session wouldn't have been that successful as we are seeing. I had seen at one point of time, 63 members connected. Thank you very much for all these. Today's best table topic speaker was the one who took us all around the world. Toastmaster Anthony Isaac. Best table topic speaker is Toastmaster Anthony Isaac. You can unmute and give him original applause at this point of time. That's
let me share his certificate.
Yeah. Okay. This is the joint certificate for best table topic speaker, Toastmaster Anthony Isaac. Best evaluator. Best evaluator is the one who showed that his diamond was perfect for Rajiv Vakal, the speaker. Best evaluator is Toastmaster Sunil Agarwal. Toastmaster Sunil Agarwal. My dear friends, I know you all are hungry. And best speaker award goes to Toastmaster 5 times DTM. Yes. Toast brilliant. Yeah.
Fine, thank you. If you don't mind, can you allow me 15 minutes because I am in the middle of a meeting? Yeah, yeah. After 15.
Big 3 award. There is always the people who are taking the center stage are Toastmaster of the Day, General Evaluator, and Table Topic Master. We have voted for...
Yeah, just give me 15 minutes. Just give me 15 minutes. Okay. Oh, yeah, please, thank you.
The big 3 award goes to... Are we ready with this? Zoom Masters?
Yes, yes. Yes, we are ready.
Yeah. So you can show it on screen. Big 3 award. is Toastmaster Meenakshi Nathan, who was the Toastmaster of the day and who taught us how to eat well and sleep well. Congrats to everybody. Before we end, I just want to correlate a quote with the theme of today. That is, "Ye dil ki baat hai." I correlated in this way. One cannot think well, work well, love well, or sleep well if he does not dine well. So all of you dine well so that you can work tomorrow in a superb manner. With these few words, I would like to call one more Toastmaster just for a short note, that is Toastmaster Balachandran Das, to give his short feedback over here if he can, it is possible, if he is there. Toastmaster Balachandran Das. He is one of the pioneer of Morison Muscat Toastmasters Club and very good friend of Toastmaster Babu Narayan. Toastmaster Balachandran Das.
I'm very much here, Toastmaster Nathan. So Chetan, I'm very much here. In fact, the moment I got this message that there's going to be a joint meeting like this, I must say I was one of the gladdest guys, because I've been really looking forward to such an event. And I've been getting, a part of the MMTC's meeting as it when possible. And the fact that our esteemed past president, Babu Narayan, was there, and I badly wanted to listen to him as he opens the meeting, because his presidential address have always been one of the best that I've ever seen. And despite all the various banes that we talk about, these online meetings, and this is some of the real boons that we have. If it had not been for this online meeting, we would never have got an opportunity to have a joint session like this. So I must say that let's make the best use of all of these technical benefits that we have, and let's continue to have more and more of such meetings in the days to come. I'm really glad that I am able to be part of this meeting today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Balachandran Das. And I would like to thank everybody who is present so far and adjourn the meeting at this point of time.